Hi everyone, this is a quick update on what to do with a tenant. Now there is a complete tenant representation guide that you will find in your field guide under the transaction tab. Then flip over to the tenant tab and you're going to see a complete representation guide. If you do not have one, you need to contact me or an admin or Giovanni immediately and we'll get you a copy of it. Number one, when you have a tenant phone call, you obviously, or somebody who walks in the office, or they call you, you call them, doesn't really matter. And the first thing that has to happen is a phone interview. Just like every single client, you need to have a phone interview. We actually have questionnaires, forms in the office that you can use, and those are going to help you out in making sure that you're asking the right questions. Number one, how much can they pay per month? How many bedrooms? How many baths? What city are they going to live in? These are all questions that you need to understand up front because you cannot possibly find them a house without knowing what they want. You're going to log into MRIS and you're going to run a search. Okay, also, you're going to need a copy of their driver's license. Some people do this before, some people do it when they meet them, but I always prepare them up front that a copy of their ID is required. It's part of our business policy. Could they email it to me? Could they text it to me? Can I actually take a picture of it with my own camera phone? Because we're going to need to submit it with the application. So don't forget to get a copy of that. I also asked the tenant if they can go up front to creditkarma.com. Creditkarma.com will tell them what their credit score. You can ask a lender to do it. Todd will do it for you if you want. Todd is from Movement Mortgage, and you should see a link on the right-hand side of this email. So again, you can ask Todd for help. Or again, you can just run their credit with creditkarma.com just to kind of give them an idea of what their credit score is. Give them a rental instruction sheet, which I'm about to show you right here. This is our rental procedures. Again, this is found in your field guide. You guys should have a copy of this. Okay, so let's go back to our checklist before we go through that. Oh, goodness. Let's get back to where we needed to be. Okay. All right, prepare them for an app fee and first month's rent. Not a deposit, guys. It's first month's rent. You need to understand this. The app fee will always be found on MRIS worksheet. So you're going to, when you go log into MRIS, it's going to tell you how much that app fee is. Remember, each agent charges a different app fee. We have no idea how much it's going to be. But remember to prepare them. They need the application fee, first month's rent. And before they move in, they're going to also have to give a deposit. That could be at the lease signing. That could be the day that they move in. But it's going to be before. So essentially, they're going to have 2 months rent and an app fee up front. Do not forget to prepare people for this. Do not assume they know. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say to me, well, I don't have 2 months up front. I'm like, well, you can't live here then. You're not going to be able to rent any place because they require a deposit and the first month's rent. They don't let you pay after you stay. They make you pay up front. So have this discussion. I promise you're going to run into people just like I did that didn't know. At that point, you're going to obviously start showing them properties. Make copies of everything prior to sending it to the listing agent. Once they have discovered a property that they want to live in, we're going to go here if they're interested in our rental listing. So I'm going to go through our rental. Again, it could be different with each one. I need a signed, completely filled out application. You're going to find that application on Instanet Forms. All you got to do is log into our contract software, Instanet Forms, and you're going to pull an application. There are also applications in our office if you need just a hard copy. I would suggest that you print out a few and have them always ready to go. At our company, we typically charge $45 for each qualifying person, which means anybody over the age of 18, if there's a husband and a wife, each of them must pay $45. That's always going to be in certified funds. That's required up front. We also need a first month's rent in certified funds. This must say first month's rent and not deposit. I will turn it away so quick because if the board catches me depositing a check that says deposit on it in our operating account, because technically it's the first month's rent, we all get in trouble. So that's why it's important that the check say first month's rent on it. And that's where you get paid from. You do not get paid from people's deposits. You get paid from their first month's rent. That's why it's required up front. Your business card and a copy of the tenant's driver's license. This is the package. Don't Forget a completely filled out. I can't tell you how many times we get applications that are not completely filled out. The people won't put their landlord's number or address or name, or they forget to put their employer's name. Look, we don't have time to be running around trying to research you. Your job is to fill it out, and you need to let your applicant, your tenant, know this. If it is not completely filled out, they will not even look at it, and you will be thrown in the trash. So if you're serious about this, make sure it's completely filled out. I would suggest that after it's filled out, make a copy of it so that you can use that same one over and over again. Just put, different addresses. Hopefully, their credit is great and you won't have to go through that nonsense. But we've even had people with perfect credit not get approved. So again, that's the way it works, guys. If it's in our office, obviously you're going to send deliver your package in person. If it's not, and this is our address, if it is not our property, you, the agent, are required to hand deliver that packet. It must have the application, the funds, your business card, the driver's license. This is what I would suggest if you want to be a great agent and not waste your own time and the tenant's time by having to show more than one property. I can't tell you how many times, guys. This is where sales skills comes in. It's not about selling them a property. It's about selling their application to the listing agent. I've had to sell my clients, oh, you know what, their credit does say poor, but let me explain to you the situation. Actually, you're going to notice everything was paid on time. It's just they had a short sale, and this is a no-brainer. I mean, they make great income. Their credit score is still good. I mean, I have to say all kinds of stuff to get my people's applications approved. It's even better if you have these things. You need to have recent pay stubs, a reference from the current landlord, a copy of recent credit report. Again, if they go to Credit Karma right there and they give it to them, this is helpful and it will speed up the process. I always tell people, if you want to put bank statements in there, that's great. If you have other reference letters, great. If you have a bad credit, I need a letter of explanation why your credit is bad. These are what make your application go through. Laziness does not pay off. If it's not filled out, you already know what happens. If the check says deposit, it will not be accepted. Please let your clients know. Look, I don't want to hear, oh, it's too hard for us to get certified funds. I don't want to hear that. Now, the deposit is something different. The deposit it depends. Is the property being professionally managed, or is the owner going to manage the property themselves? If the owner is going to manage the property, then the deposit check, remember that's not collected up front, that's collected after it's been approved, would be the owner's name. If it is being professionally managed, then the deposit will go to the property management company. So you need to call the listing agent and ask, who should the deposit check be made out to? Some require the deposit at lease signing. Some require the deposit on move-in day. Some require the deposit up front. So be prepared. Ask the listing agent. Okay, this is very, very important that you get these right, or unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Is there lead-based paint? Got to do Megan's Law. Going to do that. Lead-based paint. Got to do that. Employment verification letter. If they can get that as well, that'd be great. Deliver it to the listing agent with your card. If you don't put your card in there, or your name and number on the application, then you might have an issue. If it's not accepted, go back on the housing hunt. If it is accepted, proceed. So again, if it's not accepted, go back up to the top. If it is accepted, you're going to go down to the bottom here. If it's accepted, at this point, you're going to clean up your files and turn these printouts into a log. Remember, logs are required. If you want to stay in business, you better have a log, okay? And I'm going to show you an example of a log. In just 1 minute. Create new transactions in RS and upload all. Delete searches from MRIs. If you leave these searches active, oh my goodness, they will keep looking and calling you to look at more properties. Delete those searches. If you want to create a new website on eProperties, great. If you want to ask the listing agent who should type up the deed of lease, that's actually very proactive. A lot of agents are so lazy and they'll say, well, that's the listing agent's job. I'm not going to do it. I really don't want to hear that garbage. You know, it's important for you to be proactive and to get the job done. Now remember, before the deed of lease is signed, your tenant can walk away. Not only that, more importantly, the landlord could change their mind. Your job is to get that deed of lease signed ASAP. Okay? It is typically the listing agent's job, don't get me wrong, but be proactive. Be a good agent. Have the deposit check and ready, have the deposit check and, be ready for lease signing. Set up a lease signing appointment, or you can do it all electronically. Some listing agents want to meet at the property. The homeowner wants to be there, this, that, and the other. Whatever. Call the listing agent and ask them how they would like to proceed. But you could type up the lease if that makes sense, or if they want to do it, no problem. You just want to be proactive and get this done. Make sure your tenant orders renter's insurance. Make sure that your renter has utilities turned on. If there's HOA docs or condo docs, make sure that they get a copy. They will be calling you, cursing you out the first time they get towed because they didn't know. So you want to have happy people. Get a copy of these. Okay, verify all the documents are NRS, because if they're not, our admin will be all over you, and unfortunately you won't get paid until your documents are in. Guys, this is important too. Set up your 1-year anniversaries. These people might be ready to buy now. Set up birthday emails. Make them know that you care about them. And that's one easy way to do it. Ask for your testimonials. This is important. Ask for testimonials. You can get them on LinkedIn, or even if they just email. I would also suggest like Facebook, because for me, I just like to, friend request my past people. That way I can also tap into their sphere. Set up neighborhood rental alerts, for maybe quarterly or monthly, whatever you think is appropriate. And that way they can kind of get an idea. For rentals, I would do quarterly, just to let you know. And if you need to know how to do those, I can help you with that. Remember, you can go to the MRIS training video, and it shows you how to set up an auto search. So you'd want to set up an auto search and then just make sure that it goes out quarterly. Put on follow-up plan. In other words, you got to put this client on the follow-up plan. Guys, this to-do tenant checklist, number 1, is in our mailbox area in our office. You're going to find this there. You're also going to find it in your field guide. Every single time you have a tenant, you need to have a checklist with their name at the top. And you need to make sure that you're doing all these things. I put this stuff together so you guys don't forget. It's very, very, very important. All right, so that's how you work with a renter. Okay, listen to this over and over and over again. And I'm going to have some questions coming your way, and you need to get them right, because I want to make sure that you guys know what you're doing. Okay, it's very, very important. That's how you take care of the public. You got to make sure you know what you're doing. Also, don't forget, tenants are great opportunities to turn them into purchasers. A lot of people don't know that tenants could potentially be a purchase. They just don't know they can buy. Number 2, tenants know people. That's the beautiful part. Tenants know people who will be buying and selling and renting. And that expands your sphere, and that's your job. All right, guys, best of luck to you guys. I hope everything's great and you're very successful. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me.